Hello, I'm Judith Richards. I'm the creator of the Richards Trauma Process. Let me just give you an outline of the Richards Trauma Process, or TRTP. TRTP is an elegantly simple yet comprehensive step-by-step process that resolves even extreme trauma and the symptoms of trauma, such things as PTSD, anxiety, depression, fears and phobias, etc. It does it quickly, effectively and very safely without re-traumatizing, generally in 3 sessions. So how does it do that? Well, trauma is not housed in the conscious mind. It's housed in the body and in the unconscious. We can speak to the trauma exactly where it is. This is why cognitive therapies take longer, because that's not where the trauma is. Let's just talk about trauma. Let me give you an outline of the physiology of trauma, because our bodies actually change with trauma. Let's start by talking about a normal person, if such a thing exists. A normal person lives down here at calm. They go along, they have a stressful event, they release stress hormones, and they come back to calm. If they have a life-threatening event, they release stress hormones. They go up to fight, flight, freeze. The danger passes, and they come back, they self-regulate, and that's the story of their life. What happens with trauma, however, is that the person never comes down. They stay up here at fight, flight, freeze, continually re-triggering. And what does it feel like? Well, if you have extreme PTSD, actually, you're always up there. And it's a spectrum. You might have anxiety and peak with panic attacks. But behind all of that is, in the unconscious and in the body, is this feeling of I'm not safe. What's behind anxiety? I'm not safe. What we need to do is to come back here to I'm safe. It's over. Now this it's over is hugely important. If you look at the top trauma experts, if you look at the work of Dr. Peter Levine, Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, they agree that 2 things have to happen in order to resolve trauma, in order to bring somebody from here, I'm not safe, this hyper-aroused state, to I'm safe, it's over. So Levine and van der Kolk say 2 things have to happen for that to be resolved. 1, the person has to be moved to an empowered position in regard to the trauma, and 2, the body has to know it's over. And I'd go further and say the body and the unconscious has to know it's over and I'm safe now. And what happens then is the symptoms disappear. The symptoms of the rage of PTSD, bad dreams, panic attacks, depression. The symptoms just disappear, and that's what they are. Anxiety is not the problem. Nightmares is not the problem. Panic attacks is not the problem. Agoraphobia is not the problem. The problem is stuff that's happened that causes us to feel I'm not safe. We go back, we take the emotional charge out of that without re-traumatizing and return somebody to I'm safe, it's over, and the symptoms simply disappear, and we go on to recalibrate when we release stress hormones. So the brain actually changes when we start living up here. Let's talk a little bit about that. What happens, for example, when there's a catastrophic event? The hippocampus and the amygdala, those parts of the brain responsible for memory, are overwhelmed with stress hormones. And that never takes that memory, it never takes that event and makes it a memory, makes it yesterday, last week, last year, 10 years ago. That's why people who've been through terrible trauma can't just say it's 10 years ago, get over it. I used to say, I want to let go of it, but it won't let go of me. Because the brain changes, the hippocampus gets smaller and smaller. Memory becomes more difficult, because that's what the hippocampus does. The amygdala gets bigger and bigger, just like muscles that you use that get bigger and stronger, so does the amygdala. And the amygdala triggers fight, flight, freeze, and it gets better and better and better at doing it. So what we do with TRTP is we bring somebody from I'm not safe to I'm safe. It's over. There's no re-traumatizing. You don't even have to tell your story again. We ask our clients to bring homework, a timeline. How old were you? at the various top 10 to 12 distressing events in your life, just the age, the name of the event, and who was there. No essays, just dot points. You don't even have to tell the story, because who wants to do that? So there we are. That's what we do. It's a 3-appointment process. In step 1, session 1, we change the unconscious core beliefs that keep patterns of thought, emotion, and behavior continuing. So for example, if we're born into less than ideal conditions, we might take on the ideas that I'm not safe, I shouldn't be here, everything's my fault, I'm a burden, it's not safe to be loved, anyone who loves me will hurt me, etc., etc. And this sets up the patterns for our life. So we have to change those. So session 1, we change the unconscious core beliefs and introduce the client to the truth of who they really are. And that's an extraordinary thing. That is a wonderful thing. And that clears the slate so that in session 2, we can bring people from I'm not safe to it's over and I'm safe now. Session 3, we create the future. It's a simple step-by-step process that is fast, effective, and very, very safe. We give our practitioners extraordinary depth of training, and there's continual support and learning for all our practitioners. So if you are needing to be stepped through to the other side of your pain, or you have a loved one who's looking, you can be safe knowing the extensive training program and support that we offer to every one of our practitioners. So have a look at the practitioner directory and find someone near you or someone you'd like to work with by Skype, because geography with our wonderful technology is no longer a restraint. Thank you, and I wish you well on your healing journey.